Hello, I'm Dennis McClatchy, owner of Timeless Family Tree Videos. You know, a well-produced video can have enormous power. The combination of interesting visuals along with appropriate music and sound and a compelling narrative can elicit all sorts of emotions and feelings. It can persuade, it can motivate, it can tell a compelling story. The problem I found, though, is those organizations which have the most critical stories to tell and whose missions are the most consequential are often the ones with the smallest budget and are unable to afford making the proper video. And let's face it, making a well-crafted video can be expensive. Can be, but doesn't have to be. My most rewarding work has been working with not-for-profit, mission-driven organizations with limited budgets. If you're one of those, perhaps I can do for you as I've done for them. I'm going to show you video clips from 3 videos that I produced for 3 different clients. As you watch these clips from these 3 videos, keep this in mind. Every one of these clients spent less than $500 for their finished product. The first video was produced for the Mission Project, an organization in Mission, Kansas, working to help individuals with cognitive and developmental disabilities live independently.
My name is Lauren Stern. I'm 22. I've lived here since March. What I like most about the Mission Project, living on my own, knowing that there are other people here like me that have disabilities.
The Mission Project has given us an opportunity to give her a life very similar to what it would be like if she were a 21-year-old without disabilities.
This whole thing came from Nebraska Furniture Mart. This came from Nebraska Furniture Mart.
She's having more fun because she's now having time to go to the community center. She goes out with her friends. She's doing more, so it's been a good experience for her.
It's great. No parents.
I have great friends. I kind of fell in love with someone that I care about very much. We've been seeing each other lots of times because we've been dating, and he had a surprise for me, and it's a big shock to me. He got down on one knee and proposed to me as him getting married. Of course, I was happy and I was crying, and he was crying at the same time. So, I'm engaged to be married next year.
We feel very strongly that our efforts now will help leave a future for our children. They can look forward to having a secure and caring environment once we're not able to help them anymore.
The next video is produced for Baker University in Baldwin City, Kansas, as they celebrated the memory of a beloved and award-winning football coach.
Mistakes. There's going to be turnovers. There's going to be things happen. You may have to go in there and play defense on the 5-yard line. You may turn it over on the 5. We can't panic. We've got to do the things that we can do best.
He began his 14-year Baker coaching career in 1980 with an impressive 9-0-1 regular season record. As outstanding as that opening season was, it was only a preamble of things to come. But who was the man behind the legend? What human qualities created such a beloved and endearing figure? Those who knew him well can answer best.
One of the smartest football coaches I've ever been around. He could take a game plan wasn't working, like one day at Missouri Valley, junked it at halftime, we're down by a touchdown 14-7. put up a whole new offensive game plan, and it worked to perfection. We wound up winning by 2 touchdowns. He involved you as a person. He didn't just care what you could do for him. He would involve you to bring out your strength. And that's what made him a great coach.
Charlie was a student of the game. He understood offenses, he understood defenses, and he just had that extra sense of knowing what to use when.
I always wondered, with awe, Charlie's ability to make the right things happen at the right time. Throughout the time he coached here, at least on my watch, we were outplayed on several occasions, but we were never out-coached.
Was the reason I transferred here from Boston University. He wanted me to make sure it was the right decision for me, and that it became the right decision for me. I met my wife here. I got to play for Coach Richard and all the guys that I met here and was able to play with. And he had a lot of influence on me throughout my lifetime.
Those players liked him so much because he was a father figure. He was not a guy that yelled and screamed, but he would motivate by a look or say, gee, I'm disappointed in what you did. They didn't want that.
Oh yeah, the look was, the look sometimes came at the point where you knew you may be disappointing them. And that was about all it took to get us back into doing the right thing. And there was also that look of pleasure when you knew that you'd done something right.
While the Baker family has long admired Charlie's greatness, his special qualities were properly recognized by his peers. In August of 2004, Charlie Richard was enshrined in the National College Football Hall of Fame, along with such greats as Barry Sanders, Joe Theismann, and Coach Hayden Fry. Charlie's son, Pat, represented his family in accepting this honor. From Pat's remarks, it became clear this most prestigious honor was deserved.
It is my honor to represent my father, Charlie Richard, on behalf of his family, coaches, and players. His record of 123, 28, and 1 gave him a winning percentage of 81%. His team's only lost 18 regular season games in 14 years. But these numbers don't begin to tell the story of my father. He had a true commitment to the game and his players. In 1987, he suffered what was later determined to be a heart attack in the first half of a game in Lamoni, Iowa. He continued to call plays by climbing into a van that was pulled alongside the field, put his headset on, and he coached. The players created an alley to the field, and the receivers ran the plays in and out. After the win, he allowed my mother to drive him to St. Luke's Hospital in Kansas City, where they had doctors he trusted, where he had quadruple bypass surgery. 2 weeks later, he was calling plays from the press box in a national playoff game. For my father, this enshrinement would be an honor for his players, not for him. Dad loved the game of football. To him, coaching wasn't work, it was happiness. It wasn't about money, and it wasn't about fame. It was about competing and helping young people excel. It was about family. My dad's definition of family included everyone that surrounded him. His players, his coaches, and his friends. And as his son, and a member of that family, I am proud to be here today at his enshrinement into the College Football Hall of Fame.
My last example was produced for Denver Sister Cities International for their 2010 banquet honoring the year's recipient of their annual Friendship Award. If any man exemplifies the belief expressed by President Eisenhower, it is truly John H. Yee. Understanding and mutual respect between people and cultures has defined his lifelong journey. Our special friend's journey began in 1921 with his birth in southwestern China in Yunnan province. In 1936, at age 15, he moved to Kunming, the capital city. Kunming was to become known as an important and strategic city in the Pacific Theater Battle of World War II. After the Japanese occupation of Indochina, the city of Kunming became a frequent target of Japanese bombing due to its strategic transportation location with the Indochina-Chinese Railway and the Burma Road.
When I went back to Kunming in the 40s, that's when we had the almost daily bombings from Japan. The first to bomb the airfield, but later on it began to bomb the cities. And each time a lot of people would die.
But with the bombing of Pearl Harbor and the entry of the U.S. into the war, Kunming's fate was to dramatically change. Prior to America's entrance into the war, veteran American pilot Claire Lee Chenault helped the Japanese acquire P-40 aircraft and helped recruit volunteer pilots to fly them. They became known as the American Volunteer Group, commonly referred to as the AVG. Just 2 weeks after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, Japanese planes crossed the Indochina border, engaging the American Volunteer Group for the first time. Despite the heavier and slower P-40s as compared to the Japanese Air Force, the battle was decisively won by the AVG, downing 19 of 20 Japanese planes. The American Volunteer Group would forever be known as the historic Flying Tigers. As the war came to his hometown, John was drawn home. So at age 20, John returned to Yunnan province after studying at St. Stephen's College in Hong Kong. Being fluent in Chinese and English, he joined the AVG as a translator and became an integral part of this historic group. He has been described as a master teacher, builder of links, an historian, a facilitator, and a true lifelong learner. But we are most happy to call him a friend. John Yee is driven by his firm conviction that the world would be a far better place if we could combine the science of the West with the wisdom of the East. He has said, in these troubled times, it is imperative that we search for meaning to create a better world with less violence, with peace, and less selfishness, and more caring for our fellow man. Thank you, John, and congratulations on being named the recipient of the Denver Sister Cities International 2010 Friendship Award. If you are an organization that is mission-driven and has an important story to tell, give me a call. Let me try to help you tell your story the way it should be told.